It's just past 7 in the evening in New York, and the city hums the way it always does, indifferent to private worry. Somewhere far from the studio lights and newsroom chatter, the desert sky over Arizona has already gone dark. When someone you care about is facing uncertainty, time stretches in strange ways. Every hour feels heavier than the last. Updates become lifelines. Silence becomes its own kind of noise. And yet, outwardly, the world continues at its normal pace. In moments like this, what stands out most is not spectacle but restraint. There are no dramatic interviews, no emotional outbursts filling timelines, just patience, just waiting. And in that waiting, people begin to look more closely, replaying past words, past appearances, searching for clues in tone and posture. Because when someone known for composure stays quiet, the silence itself starts to speak, a voice from outside the spotlight. This week, it wasn't a formal broadcast that drew attention. It was a quiet conversation. Anderson Cooper, known for his steady presence through storms and global crises, spoke privately with a small circle of trusted colleagues. Not on air, not in a headline-grabbing segment, just a candid exchange among people who have shared green rooms, long election nights, and professional crossroads. Those who listened described a different tone from him, less analytical, more reflective. Instead of focusing on developments or speculation, he spoke about history, about patterns, about the way certain life lessons take root so deeply that they shape how a person responds decades later. His reflections weren't dramatic accusations or revelations. They were observations about character, about upbringing, and about the invisible threads that connect a parent and child long after childhood ends. The education of strength. According to those present, Anderson described a mother who valued resilience above all else. After profound loss early in life, she focused on survival, on raising her children to be capable and unbreakable in a world that rarely pauses for grief. That philosophy, born from necessity, can produce remarkable strength. Children raised that way often grow into adults who handle pressure with uncommon steadiness. But such lessons also leave marks. When you are taught that love is expressed through discipline and endurance, you may begin to equate vulnerability with failure. You learn to steady your voice before you steady your heart. You organize your fear before you admit it. Anderson's reflection was not criticism, it was context. He suggested that what people are witnessing now is not coldness or distance, but the natural extension of a lifetime spent learning that composure is the highest form of respect. Reading between the lines. When viewers replay public messages delivered in moments of crisis, they often focus on the words themselves. Anderson, however, reportedly focused on rhythm and structure, the order of gratitude, the careful acknowledgement of facts, the deliberate pacing. He suggested that this pattern reflects training, years of crafting language so that emotion never overwhelms clarity. In journalism, that skill is essential. In personal turmoil, it becomes armor. While some families plead openly, voices cracking under the weight of fear, others speak with measured calm. Neither approach reveals the depth of love involved. It only reveals the coping style learned over time. To the outside world, such calm can look almost superhuman. But as Anderson noted, it may simply be familiar territory. Handle what must be handled, keep the message clear, protect the bigger mission. In this case, that mission is hope. The cost of always being in control can feel empowering. It creates order in chaos and provides a sense of agency when circumstances feel uncertain. Yet control also demands energy. Maintaining a steady exterior requires constant discipline. Anderson reportedly reflected on how exhausting that can be, especially when the situation involves family. Professional poise is one thing, personal fear is another. Holding both at once is no small task. Those who have worked in high-pressure environments often develop the ability to compartmentalize. They separate feeling from function, but compartments eventually fill. At some point, emotion asks to be acknowledged. That does not mean composure will disappear. It means even the strongest individuals need space where they do not have to perform. The public rarely sees that space. It exists behind closed doors, among trusted friends, in moments when the cameras are gone and the script is no longer required. Parenting differently, healing quietly. One of the more thoughtful observations shared in that private call involved generational change. Anderson noted that he has seen warmth and openness in how his colleague parents her own children. Where once strength may have been the primary lesson, there now appears to be room for tears, frustration, and imperfection. That shift is not unusual. Many adults consciously give their children freedoms they themselves did not experience. It is not rebellion, it is evolution. It reflects a belief that resilience and emotional honesty can coexist. In times of crisis, however, old lessons resurface. The original blueprint does not disappear simply because a new one has been drafted. Anderson's reflection suggested that honoring a parent's teachings while simultaneously growing beyond them can create internal tension. You want to respect the foundation you were given, yet you also long to rewrite parts of it with more gentleness. Silence as loyalty. Since the most recent public message, there has been little outward communication. For observers, that quiet can feel unsettling. We live in an era where constant updates are expected. But Anderson reportedly framed the silence differently, not as withdrawal, but as discipline. Waiting for verified information, avoiding unnecessary noise, choosing precision over impulse. In journalism, speaking too soon can complicate delicate situations. In family matters, it can as well. The instinct to hold back until words are measured may not signal detachment. It may signal respect for investigators, for process, for the seriousness of what is unfolding. Silence in that light becomes loyalty to principles instilled long ago. Do not react in panic. Respond with purpose. Even when uncertainty lingers, even when patience feels unbearable, stay steady. For someone shaped by those teachings, that steadiness can feel like the truest form of devotion. The human question beneath it, all beyond public appearances and professional discipline, lies a universal question. Am I enough without proving it? That question is not unique to any one family. It lives quietly in many accomplished adults who grew up equating love with achievement. Success can quiet the question temporarily, but it rarely erases it entirely. In moments of personal crisis, it can reemerge with surprising force. Anderson's reflections seem to center on this theme, not to dramatize, but to humanize. To remind listeners that behind the composed exterior stands a daughter who, like anyone else, wants reassurance that love does not depend on flawless handling of hardship. That reassurance does not negate strength, it softens it. It says that tears would not diminish respect, that fatigue would not equal failure, that love can stand even when composure wavers, hope beyond performance. As night deepens and search efforts continue far from the bright lights of New York studios, what remains most powerful is hope. Not the kind that demands spectacle, but the quiet hope rooted in connection. Anderson reportedly ended his call not with drama, but with a wish that when this chapter closes, there will be space for something gentler, space for relief, space for words spoken plainly and without condition. In every family, there comes a moment when strength can rest and affection can speak for itself. Public narratives may analyze tone and timing, but private healing requires something simpler: permission to be human. Whatever unfolds next, one truth remains steady. Behind every composed message is a daughter who loves her mother, and beneath every expectation of strength lies a longing shared by many, to be embraced not for perfection, but simply for being.